Good morning, just after 6 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Miss Erin, lots of local news. Lots of local news up next.
Kicking the trash can down the road. We'll talk more about that. Investigation into the fire department and more flu troubles in the area.
Okay, so we need to talk about the council meeting yesterday.
Boy, do we.
We need to talk about Stormy Gage Watts, Cattle Commission president. And look, I can broker the deal this morning if we get the two sides in the studio.
Ooh.
And what's the city? When did the city get into the festival business? We're passing out cash?
Yeah, we want some.
I need to find out more about this.
We want some now.
Fletcher and sports, traffic and weather. It's here this hour coming up on KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Shreveport's garbage fee put on hold. Shreveport councils voted to delay a proposed $7 monthly fee. However, not everyone was happy. One of them, Councilwoman Labette Fuller.
This looks like a can getting kicked. If you want to get to actually making cuts, you vote the thing down and let him make the cuts. That's what he said a couple of weeks ago when I asked, where are we going to cut? He said, we haven't looked at that yet. We're trying to see what y'all are going to do. You're delaying the game.
But several council members say they want to see where the mayor has cut spending before voting to approve any new fee. The mayor mulling over a fire department investigation. Matt Parker with the latest.
Mayor Adrian Perkins is considering an HR investigation of the Shreveport Fire Department. Several city council members, including Willie Bradford and Grayson Butcher, have received complaints about discrimination and retaliation within the department. While state law says the sole governing body over the fire department is the Civil Service Board, the city can launch a human resources investigation. Mayor Perkins says that he is considering the probe, but wants to meet with the fire chief in Bradford before moving forward. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The flu strikes again, closing down another school. Due to a large number of student and teacher absences, Pine Grove Elementary is closed today. The campus will go through a hospital-grade sanitation in an effort to kill the virus. At this time, Pine Grove is set to reopen tomorrow. A Smart City Summit held in town. AT&T, General Dynamics, and several other companies were on hand for our first Smart City workshop. Demand for information technology workers is high, and Chief Technology Officer Keith Hansen wanted to find out what companies with high-paying jobs need from entry-level employees. The information collected from the workshop will be passed along to schools to help students be more prepared and job-ready. Congressman Ralph Abraham pitching President Trump on making Louisiana the home of Space Command. Abraham, in a letter to the president, says Louisiana already has a large Air Force presence with Barksdale and strong relationships with all military branches and NASA. A man found dead in a Walmart parking lot has now been identified. 50-year-old Mark Morgan has been named as the man found dead inside a car at Walmart on Shreveport-Barksdale. Police do not suspect foul play in his death. Full autopsy has been ordered. A man recovering after being shot twice early today. The shooting happened just before 1 this morning on Regent Street. The victim was sitting inside his car when someone opened fire. The man struck twice, once in the wrist, once in the leg. No arrests have been made. A big debate has started following this week's council meeting. Should the city help fund for-profit events? At the Tuesday meeting, Matt Snyder requested the city pay $20,000 of his $80,000 budget for Crawfest. Snyder contended the event is growing every year and helps make the community better. However, Councilwoman Labette Fuller says funding for-profit events sets a dangerous precedent, especially when the city is looking to make cuts and save money. For more than 30 years, Nathaniel Code has been on death row for brutally murdering 3 members of the Colbert family. Albert Colbert testified on behalf of his family members before a House panel that is studying the death penalty in our state.
So we believe in the power of forgiveness, but we also believe that Nathaniel Code must and should pay his debt to society.
The committee made no headway in deciding whether or how to resume the use of the death penalty. An investigation by the AP finds police departments routinely withhold video taken by body-worn and dashboard-mounted cameras of officer-involved shootings and other uses of force. A woman in Virginia wins the lottery 30 times. Seems she picked the same numbers on 30 different tickets. She just had a feeling. She wins $150,000. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Morning. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic update starting us off. Hey, Ruben.
Starting things off looking pretty clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard, we gotta get the Weather Channel.
One 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. What day's today? Wednesday already.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeesh. No, what's amazing is it's like practically the middle of March already. That's the amazing part. Have you recovered from daylight saving time yet?
No, it's 5:15 in the morning.
Have you changed the
Your
clock
oven?
in your
No.
car?
The car did itself.
Really?
Yeah.
It's impressive.
The oven didn't, and the microwave didn't. I'm still waiting to do that. I'll get to it by about October, when it's time to just leave it alone.
It'll be the right time for about like 10 days.
Yeah, I know, something like that.
Okay, city council meeting yesterday. What happened?
I don't even know where to start.
Garbage fee. Let's start garbage fee.
Well, they kicked that trash can down the road.
What does that mean?
2 more weeks delay. They've delayed it for at least 2 more weeks.
So
frustrating a lot of council members.
What? Who made the motion?
I don't know who made the motion. It was a 4-hour plus meeting, I think.
You know what? It was
I'm not
on.
sure.
It was on Facebook. I don't know if it was on Adrian's page, on the mayor's page, or whatever. But I got back from running at about 6:30 and checked messages and looked at Facebook for a second, and that came up, and it's like 6:30, and I'm thinking, wait a second, they started at 3. And then Lavette Fuller put a couple of photos up later where she literally looked exhausted.
Right. It was exhausting. It really looked exhausting. I just don't know how they do it.
So they had, how long did the meeting last?
I think it was a 4-hour deal. I don't know.
Literally, they got very little, if anything, done.
They delayed a lot of things. They delayed. They did vote to fund Crawfest.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
That is raising the ire of a number of people.
Yeah, they did confirm Sharika Fields-Jones as CAO,
Yeah.
first African-American female to serve in that position. So kind of a history-making day. Congrats to her. Hopefully she'll join us this morning. I'm trying to work on that, but because that's a big day.
Yeah. When do we start funding private for-profit events? But we'll talk about this later.
I know. I got to get to that. They delayed hiring an engineer of $170,000. They went over the big numbers we talked about, the $350 million infrastructure and why has it gotten to $1 billion. They kind of went over that. That took about an hour.
We're talking now about we're not talking about Lake Street. We're not
Lake Street they've delayed, but it sounds like they're going to close Lake Street.
Lake Street is closed.
Well, I mean, keep it closed.
So the solution, and we'll talk about this later.
There's just so much.
You can't leave the radio today. There's too much to talk about.
There is too much to talk about.
Okay, so we have to talk about, at some point, we have to talk about this Crawfest getting $20,000 from the city because the guy who put on this for-profit event stood up and went, "If it rains, I'll lose my house." He actually said that, right?
Yeah.
And the city council voted to give him $20,000. But we'll talk about this later.
Because our hand is out now.
Then we've got Lake Street, which is closed. And it would appear the solution is, rather than fix it, just leave it closed.
Well, the price tag keeps growing on that.
We'll talk about this later. Right now, let's talk about the garbage fee.
Let's talk trash.
What did they decide? They decided not to vote.
No vote.
Was it because a heated discussion? Because nobody was ready? Was it the mayor's idea because he knows it's DOA? Explain to me.
No, the mayor didn't want it postponed. The council members want to see where we've belt tightened, how we've tightened the belt. And the mayor is kind of saying, I really can't.
So it was sort of, now, do we have the mayor?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically.
Here was what he was responding to, because Grayson Butcher was kind of, we need to be transparent. The public wants us to be transparent. So far, we've not been transparent.
Would it be?
And that got the hairs on the back of Mayor Perkins' neck standing up. I could tell.
Would it be fair to say that from the council's point of view, the 2-week delay on voting on the garbage fee was an overture to the mayor to show us what you've done, and it's like, help me help you.
Yeah, show me something, mister.
It's literally like Jerry Maguire. Help me help you, Adrian.
Yeah.
Is that basically, am I out of line there?
That's kind of what it is, but he got a little defensive when they kept mentioning the word transparency.
It's a negative connotation, and it just implies that we're masking something. I'm just letting you know, like, all the information about this is available. If you want to ask about the savings of employees, we provided everything that's been asked. But in addition to that, I will say, even with our cost savings, just to kind of remind the council of the hole that we're in, we spent $8.4 million last year on the subsidy for sanitation department, and that cost is going to go up next year. So even with cost savings, to bridge that gap and to try to replenish the reserve, even to any degree, that is asking a lot from my administration. Think about it. Last year, we didn't balance the budget. We overspent $6 million from the revenue that we brought in. So not only are you asking me to balance the budget, but you're asking me to balance the budget and save $8 million. If it's comparing it to last year, this saying, hey, can you save $14 million across the board in operations, considering the rising healthcare costs, wages, et cetera. And that's a pretty big ask, but you've already pointed out that we'll be talking about some that we have to make with cuts going forward if this doesn't go.
Sounded like a man making his case. He didn't
Cuts going forward if this doesn't go.
Okay, repeat to me and everybody what the mayor just said. Now, you first said he got a little upset. He didn't sound upset. He sounded like a man making his case.
Oh, if you'd have seen his face, you would have known he was a little bit miffed when
Really?
they kept talking about, transparency. It was like they were calling him non-transparent. He said, I've been more than transparent. I've sent you the information you've asked. I've sent you, what we've done on jobs.
What did he say before that? He said something about cuts?
He's talking about he's going to have to make cuts. He talked about job positions he hasn't filled. He's talked about cuts that he's made, cost savings he's done.
Correct me if I'm wrong. What the mayor said to the council yesterday, what you interpret him as saying is when he's threatening cuts. Did he threaten cuts?
Right at the end of there. He said there are cuts that are going to have to be made if this doesn't go forward.
So the mayor, if what doesn't go forward?
The garbage fee.
So he's saying, unless you let me spend more money, I'm going to have to...
We're cutting.
Spend less money. What?
We're going to have to cut. Because if you listen to him in that piece, he says the sanitation fee is $8.5 million this year. It's going to be more next year.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have to cut. We don't have more for next year. It doesn't exist. It's not there. The reserve fund is now, I'm told, close to about $1 million.
So he's not talking about putting money in the reserve fund.
No.
He's talking about, I need money to pay people and things cost more.
Yes,
but all
costs
along
keep going up.
Hasn't all along the point been to take the money for the reserve fund? What happened to the reserve fund money?
Well, you still want the reserve fund money.
Well, now we're going to need...
But you need more than $7.
Now we're going to need more than $7, according to the mayor now. I'm reading between the lines.
Well, $7 would give you a little money for the reserve, but not much.
No, he's
not
saying...
much.
No, he's saying we need that money to pay for stuff.
Well...
He didn't mention reserve fund.
Well, no, but you're kind of twisting it. If you pass the $7 fee...
Right.
You raise $5 million.
Okay. So that frees up $5 million from the general fund.
Right. Of that $5 million you freed up, you can put $3 million of it into the reserve.
But hasn't the point the council people have made, isn't the point the council people have made to us repeatedly specifically Ms. Levette, is that she has not seen from the mayor an itemized, detailed breakdown of where that money is going to go?
That's exactly the problem.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update right now.
Looks like I-20 eastbound's got to clear all the way to Monroe right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-49 northbound near Kings Highway. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard Ouellette, the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Sports Time.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Northwestern State earned a 3-1 win over 13th-ranked LSU Tuesday night at Brown Stroud Field in Natchitoches. Demon senior Cullen McDonald pitched 7 2/3 of an inning and gave up just 1 run. Tyler Pickett kept the Tigers at bay over the final inning and a third to earn the save. The game was tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 6th when Jeffrey Elkins roped a 2-run double off the left field wall to provide the winning runs. It's the first win for NSU over LSU in Natchitoches since 2001 and the first win against the Tigers for the Demons since 2011. Louisiana Tech blanked Sam Houston State 7-0 last night in Ruston. Kyle Griffin, Tyler Folis, Quentin Logan, and Braxton Smith combined on the 9-hit shutout. Parker Bates collected 2 RBI, and Manny Garcia went 3 for 4 with an RBI. Mark Ingram is no longer a New Orleans Saint. The team's all-time leader with 50 rushing touchdowns is out after the Saints agreed to terms with Latavius Murray for 4 years and $14 million. The former Raider and Viking running back is roughly the same age as Ingram, but has had 422 fewer NFL carries than Ingram. Former LSU teammates Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. have been reunited, and it feels so good in Cleveland. The Browns traded their first-round pick, a third-round pick, and safety Jabril Peppers to the Giants for Beckham. The 10th-seeded Lady Texters take on Charlotte at 1:30 this afternoon in Frisco in the first round of the Conference USA Tournament. In the men's tournament, Louisiana Tech faces Florida Atlantic tonight at around 6. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
God, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Can you think of off the top of your head just a movie you hate that just it comes on, you go, and you just wince and you avoid it?
I'm not a Will Ferrell fan.
See me neither.
So I'm not a big what's the one the NASCAR one he's in? I hate
Ricky
that
Bobby.
I hate that movie.
Talladega Nights.
Talladega
Yeah,
Nights. I couldn't
hate
think of
it.
it. You know,
Hate
I'm
it.
not a big Will Ferrell fan.
Not a big.
You know
Will
what?
Ferrell.
And he's been doing the voice lately, and it makes me nuts.
Oh, Ace Ventura
No,
too.
hate that.
I hate Carrey too.
No, Jim Carrey is nothing more than a profane Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
And I hated Jerry Lewis when I was a
Right.
kid.
Hate him.
No, the voice he's been doing, the movie that just makes me is David Spade, Joe Dirt.
Oh,
And he's
yeah.
been doing that David Spade, Joe Dirt voice, man. And it just it's just, stop it.
Yeah.
I will come over there. I will turn your hat around and bam.
Do you know something?
Or I'll send you.
Funny you should mention David Spade because he performed here. God, it's been 20 years at the Riverview Hall on the riverfront. Yeah, it was the most bizarre. And I saw who's the one who smashes watermelons?
Gallagher.
I saw him there. I mean, they brought in some comedians for a while there to the Riverview Hall.
We had some awesome comics when Funny Bone was
David
open.
Spade came through, and I got a chance to meet. He was a very sweet man. I expected him to be a diddlehead.
Well, you went riding in his pickup. You went riding in the pickup truck with Ron White when he was at the. I went playing golf with Ron White.
Ron White is such a cool.
It was one of the
dude.
best days of my life. Playing golf with Ron White.
You know, I wasn't real comfortable with him drinking scotch while driving, but that's another thing.
Well, you shouldn't have handed him your glass. Why doesn't Erin text when she drives? She knocks over her beer.
Yeah.
So old joke.
Oh man.
So what?
I don't know where we begin today.
I almost texted you last night, and I was going to text, why don't we get Stormy Gage Watts from the Caddo Commission, and why don't we get whoever the lady in charge or the president of the United Daughters of the Confederacy, both in here this morning, and we can solve this Confederate monument thing in about 30 minutes.
I don't think that's going to happen.
What did Stormy Gage Watts say yesterday? We're willing to pay for it. We're willing to pay for the move. All that needs to be, we just need a place to put it.
I can ask.
But you know what stunned
folks.
me about that is that evidently now either A, and I certainly don't mean to impugn Ms. Watts' veracity. But when I said, well, have you called? Have you made the offer? And she goes, no. May talk to the lawyer today. I mean, she was very late. Let me rephrase it this way. Were you stunned by the lack of seeming inaction on the commission's part? In other words, they haven't done anything behind the scenes to try to solve it.
Well, the lawyers won't let them. They can't talk.
I don't. Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Well, there's a legal fight going on. You can't really do anything.
Why don't you
got to
just
be quiet.
Well,
you could jeopardize the lawsuit.
Why? No, that's not true. That's lawyers. People solve.
Well, you got to let the lawyers do it.
People
you can't
solve
do it.
lawsuits all the time.
I know, but you got to let the lawyers do it.
But the point is, no one has made an overture. The problem is, look, it's going to get moved. The UDC may be a little reticent and or blind to that fact. The Confederate monument is going to be moved.
Yep.
It would seem to me, when she told us yesterday, Ms. Stormy Gage Watts, Caddo Commission president, that they, for all intents and purposes, what I took from what she said was they would be willing to pay to have it moved. That the only thing that stood in the way of that was finding a place for it. I can do that in 20 minutes.
Right.
And B, the lawsuit. Well, I got news for you. I don't know anybody with the United Daughters of the Confederacy, but I would be willing to bet if you sat them down and said, look, the Caddo Commission's going to pay. We've got a place to take it. Either Norton Art Gallery, take it down to the Civil War place in Mansfield. We've got somewhere else.
Right.
If they do all that and they cover the cost and they promise to wrap it in bubble wrap like nothing has ever been wrapped in bubble wrap in the history of the USA, would you drop the lawsuit? I bet they would.
They might.
Or do you think the way the Caddo Commission looks at it is this is just a bunch of redneck women who we just want to sweep aside?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
And that's the question that we did not ask yesterday, and I apologize.
Right. I don't know.
Do the black members of the Caddo Commission, do you just view the UDC as just a bunch of stubborn racists and that you don't want to deal with them because they don't look at the statue the way you do?
That could be.
I'm
not sure.
I would be surprised if that were the case, honestly.
Yeah.
You want to rerun this story in a couple of minutes?
I think we probably should. It was interesting. There were some interesting comments she made, and I'm hoping we get to an end of this.
I can fix it in a half hour. I can do it. Robert J. Wright, mediator.
Yeah.
Erin McCarty, mediatrix.
Oh, I like that.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-20 eastbound's got to clear all the way to Monroe right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-49 northbound near Kings Highway. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard, we got to get the Weather Channel.
information. KEEL News now.
Shreveport's garbage fee is put on hold, but was a proposed $7 monthly fee. Several council members, including Levette Fuller, are a bit frustrated now.
You're kicking the can. We can vote right now. We can vote for or against. I've already told everybody and their grandmother I'm voting against it. And then we can look at the cuts. But this just suspends the game. We're just suspended in animation. And I'm frustrated.
Grayson Butcher feeling the same.
My constituents are growing weary of it. They want some explanations of cutting. Where are we going to cut? What are we going to do?
The measure will be on the agenda in another 2 weeks. Mayor Adrian Perkins considering an HR investigation into the fire department. Several council members have gotten complaints about discrimination and retaliation within the department. Smart City Summit is held in Shreveport. Matt Parker has details.
AT&T, General Dynamics, and several other companies were on hand for Shreveport's first Smart City Workshop. Demand for information technology workers is high, and Chief Technology Officer Keith Hansen wanted to find out what companies with high-paying jobs need from entry-level employees. The information collected from the workshop will be passed along to schools that help students be more prepared and job-ready when they graduate. Hansen hopes to hold several workshops a year that help develop and cultivate local talent for high-paying jobs. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The flu strikes again, closing down another school due to a large number of absences. Pine Grove Elementary is closed today. They're hoping to get it reopened tomorrow. Lawmakers heard hours of testimony about the state's stalled execution process for death row inmates, but made no headway in deciding whether or how to resume the use of capital punishment. Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry.
In fact, there were 25 executions carried out across the country last year. 13 of those were just across our state lines in neighboring Texas, 2 in Alabama, 4 in Arkansas, 2 in Florida, 2 in Georgia, 3 in Tennessee. It's time for Louisiana to administer justice to those families.
A Shreveport case was front and center during the hearing. Relatives of Nathaniel Code's victims testified, saying it's time for justice. Code's been on death row for 30 years. A man shot early today happened just before 1 a.m. on Regent Street. The victim was sitting inside his car when someone opened fire. The man was hit twice, once in the wrist and once in the leg. LSU's basketball press conference once again saw interim head coach Tony Benford fielding questions on the 2 individuals of interest in the recent wiretap investigation, the suspended coach Will Wade and freshman Javonte Smart. Benford says Smart's status is still up in the air as to if he'll be playing in the coming SEC tournament.
When I leave here, I'll make a couple of calls and kind of see what his status is. So we're still hoping that we can have him Friday.
When asked about how Will Wade is currently doing during his suspension, Benford said it's been tough for him. A big debate has started following this week's council meeting. Should the city help fund for-profit events? At the meeting, Matt Snyder requested the city pay $20,000 of his $80,000 budget for Crawfest. Snyder contended the event is growing every year and helps make the community better. However, Councilwoman Levette Fuller says funding for-profit events could set a dangerous precedent. Federal prosecutors and the FBI announced the takedown of a massive college admission scheme involving kids whose families were rich, powerful, or famous. Olivia Giannulli, the daughter of accused actress Lori Loughlin, vlogs her days at college on her YouTube channel. One video is sparking outrage.
I don't know how much of school I'm going to attend, but I'm going to go in and talk to my deans and everyone and hope that I can try and balance it all. But I do want the experience of like game days, partying. I don't really care about school, as you guys all know.
More than 50 people, including Loughlin and fellow actress Felicity Huffman, have been charged. A woman in Slovenia cut off her hand with a power saw, all in an attempt to gain insurance money. Doctors were able to recover the hand and reattach it. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin, a replay of Caddo Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts on the monument from yesterday. I'm telling you, I could fix this.
Good luck with that.
So how did you find... Nobody else seems to be trying. The lawyers don't seem to be working at it.
Well,
Doesn't seem like anybody on either side is doing anything to bridge the gap.
I think they've been working and trying.
When we listen, when we replay the Stormy Gage Watts interview in a couple of seconds, it doesn't sound like what she said to us in any way intimates that the Caddo Commission has done anything, or at least she as president, to reach out and say, look, let's wait and play it again in a second, okay? Where did you find that old Hendricks ticket on eBay?
If you look for Shreveport, there's all kinds of cool stuff. I just sent you a $20 bill from the Bank of Shreveport when Louisiana was still considered its own little thing.
Whoa.
By its own little thing, you mean an independent nation?
Yeah. It says the Treasury of Louisiana from the Bank of Shreveport. It's a $20 Louisiana note.
That's the good news. The bad news is it's dated 1977. Now, here's the deal. Did you see what we're talking about?
No.
He found a ticket stub from Jimi Hendrix at Municipal Auditorium from 1960, was it 1968?
8 sounds right, yeah.
Wow.
July. What was the date of the show? I forget.
Oh, God, I don't know.
I've got it on my phone.
Ernie worked it.
Yeah. How much do you think? Okay, you know, basically in those old days, the tickets they passed out were about the size of a raffle ticket that you get at a charity dinner or whatever it happens to be, right?
Yeah.
So you know how small and frail those things are.
Oh, definitely.
So it's torn in half. And the half you can see Jimi Hendrix Municipal Auditorium, the date 1968. I forget the date.
Oh, my goodness.
How much do you think on eBay that is selling for? Half a ticket, which is maybe the distance from the tip of my thumb to the knuckle.
Oh, $25?
The ticket originally, interestingly enough, was $5.50.
Okay.
The stub,
Half a stub.
ticket torn in half, $289.
Wow.
You know what? Did you post that?
I have not.
You need to do that today. It is another awesome bit of Shreveport history.
Well, I'm actually going through eBay as we speak, seeing what other kind of cool stuff is available.
There's too much to talk about today. We'll never get to it all. 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Attorney General Jeff Landry at 710, by the way. Oh, yeah, that little guy. Oh, sorry.
Oh!
Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-20 eastbound's got to clear all the way to Monroe right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-49 northbound near Kings Highway. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard Wettig, the Weather Channel.
Right, and Erin McCarty. See, there's something else we need to talk about, and we can't tell you guys now. I apologize.
Not yet, no.
There's just too much today.
We got
there's
so
more
much.
today.
Mhm.
We're not going to get, there's so much going on today
Yeah.
that we're not going to get to anything that we had planned.
I know, we're not.
Okay, so Stormy Gage Watts, Caddo Commission president and the Confederate Monument, and the court said, no, it belongs to the commission, and they can do with it what they want. And that's kind of where we
Well, the land does, yeah.
That's kind of where we started yesterday. I
Mhm.
said to Miss Stormy, I said, so it's all over. It's all over but the moving. Everything's done and settled, right?
Actually, we are still in litigation, and we have to wait until all of the appeals delays have run. So even though we have a favorable ruling, that ruling is actually not still, fulfilled until all of the appeals by the plaintiff have been totally exhausted. So
In a perfect world, if everything went the way that you wanted it to go, what would happen?
I think that I am not, first of all, let me say I am not for destroying the monument. I believe that it should be put somewhere where it could be properly admired or, for the inspiration for those who want the monument. I think that Norton Art Gallery have offered their facilities to store it there. I think it should be put in a place where monuments can be reviewed.
Would you say that is sort of the prevailing feeling of the commission as a whole?
I would. I do not believe that it's anyone's intent to destroy the monument, but just to have it put in its proper place.
So it kind of comes down to cash, right?
Definitely. Definitely it's going to take some money to move that monument.
Stormy, have y'all done any research on the cost? So we've heard the price tag of $1 million to move it. Is that out of line?
The last research that I am aware of, it was about $300,000.
Okay. The legal fight you're still in, the United Daughters of the Confederacy can appeal this latest ruling. Wouldn't that move it to the Supreme Court level?
Actually, that is not because of that. It's just that there are other appeals that are already out there. So basically, we just have to let them exhaust themselves, in other words.
Okay, once that happens, what's the timetable? Do you need further action before the commission to move the monument? I guess you need to appropriate the money.
No, we don't want to do anything prematurely. We just want to wait it out. It's just a waiting process. So to have a timeline to say if it'll be another 3 months, another 3 years, we don't know. So we just know that we're moving forward with another favorable ruling.
So just to clarify, and maybe this is not related at all, you guys are sitting on about $151 million. If you found someone who would take the monument, and they said, yes, we'd love to have it here, be it Norton, be it down in Mansfield, wherever it happened to be. And you guys, through your benevolence and goodwill, were willing to put up the $300,000 or whatever it happened to be. And you went to the Daughters of the Confederacy and said, listen, we've got to take her, we're going to pay. Do you think all the legal stuff would just magically go away?
I think that would be a great alternative to offer to the UDC. And I hope that would be something that they would accept.
Is the Caddo Commission, sitting on that rather substantial amount I just mentioned, is the possibility of you guys covering the expense of moving the monument, is that off the table or is that a possibility?
No, it is not off the table. It's definitely not off the table. It is an option.
Stormy Gage Watts, you're president of the Caddo Commission. Can you give us an idea at this point of how much has already been spent on this legal fight?
I cannot actually give you an actual total cost on what has actually been spent to date fighting for the removal of this monument. All I know is that we do have a lot of in-house that is working on it as well as outside sources.
Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. What would be your guess?
I would guesstimate within tens of thousands.
Will you be requesting that to find out how much this has cost to date? I mean, you're in charge of the commission now. You're the head cheese up there.
Yes, I will. I think that is imperative to know at this point because we need to know moving forward so we can get a total cost on what it's actually costing the citizens of Caddo Parish. We're fighting a fight, for this monument to be removed when we have made all of the necessary precautions to do so.
With the court coming back ruling for you guys, with the folks who want the monument removed from the courthouse grounds, with the ruling coming back in your favor, have there been any, based on what you said earlier just a couple of seconds ago, have there been any sort of behind-the-scenes or behind-the-curtain discussions with the Daughters of the Confederacy and some other groups who might appeal, saying, look, we can work this out? It seems to me that there have been folks who are willing to take the monument. Have there been any talks sort of off the record you can tell us about?
I am. If there have been any talks with UDC about, taking this out of the courts and making a mutual agreement between the body and them, I am not aware of it.
You're the president of the commission. Is it beyond your scope, beyond your power to pick up the phone and make a call and say, we maybe could put this whole thing to bed in about an hour, huh?
I do not think that would be beyond my control, and that will be something that I'll be running by my attorney today.
Okay. Your message to the UDC, United Daughters of the Confederacy, today, if you had a chance to talk to those folks on the phone.
If I could talk to them today, I think that it would do a favor for the citizens of Caddo Parish if we would come to a mutual agreement and remove the monument from a public ground that belongs to Caddo Parish and place it in a facility where it be received and it can still give whomever the inspiration that they would like to receive from it. They will have it in a place that is facilitated to receive those type of monuments, but it does not belong on public property.
Stormy, lastly, real quickly, I can't understand it. Robert probably can't understand it. You can help explain it. You have to walk past that monument every time you go into the courthouse.
Yes.
What is the impact on you as an African-American woman?
For me, I see the pain that it caused during the era that it represents. I think that it had been ignored for a very long time because there was nothing that an African-American could do about it. It represented slavery, and for me, a lot of my ancestors experienced that. It also represents the burning of the crosses in people's yards. It was a really bad time for this Civil War that was lost. And for my people, it's hurtful. So for me, it's hurtful to continue to walk past something that I know we've taken the necessary steps to remove. And to continue have to look at it, it is disheartening.
101.7 FM 710 KEEL. Sports just ahead. Right now, Ruben's here. Traffic time.
The intersection at Hollywood Avenue and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard Ouellette, the Weather Channel.
FM 710 KEEL. Sports update time. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Northwestern State earned a 3-1 win over 13th-ranked LSU Tuesday night at Brown Stroud Field in Natchitoches. Demon senior Cullen McDonald pitched 7 2/3 of an inning and gave up just 1 run. Tyler Piggott kept the Tigers at bay over the final inning and a third to earn the save. The game was tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 6th when Jeffrey Elkins roped a 2-run double off the left field wall to provide the winning runs. It's the first win for NSU over LSU in Natchitoches since 2001 and the first win against the Tigers for the Demons since 2011. Louisiana Tech blanked Sam Houston State 7-0 last night in Ruston. Kyle Griffin, Tyler Folis, Quentin Logan, and Braxton Smith combined on the 9-hit shutout. Parker Bates collected 2 RBI, and Manny Garcia went 3 for 4 with an RBI. Mark Ingram is no longer a New Orleans Saint. The team's all-time leader with 50 rushing touchdowns is out after the Saints agreed to terms with Latavius Murray for 4 years and $14 million. The former Raider and Viking running back is roughly the same age as Ingram, but has had 422 fewer NFL carries than Ingram. Former LSU teammates Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. have been reunited, and it feels so good in Cleveland. The Browns traded their first-round pick, a third-round pick, and safety Jabril Peppers to the Giants for Beckham. The 10th-seeded Lady Texters take on Charlotte at 1:30 this afternoon in Frisco in the first round of the Conference USA Tournament. In the men's tournament, Louisiana Tech faces Florida Atlantic tonight at around 6. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Ooh, gotta go. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. State Attorney General Jeff Landry just after 7 o'clock. Death penalty stuff. Had a big meeting yesterday. Meantime, here's Rush on KEEL.
Are you ready for this Newsweek headline, folks? Ready? Elderly Americans are dying without getting to read Mueller's report. And they're not happy about it. The people dying are not happy. This is in Newsweek, not The Onion. The article cites World War II veteran Mitchell Tendler as the prime example. At 93, this guy had survived many historic milestones. The Korean War, Vietnam, Watergate, but somehow he survived Bill Clinton's impeachment, too, at the hands of these dastardly Republicans. But as 2018 ended, Mr. Tendler was dying. He was on painkillers in the hospital, like Obama suggested. And then he sat up in bed and said the S word. He said, "I'm not going to see the Mueller report, am I?" he asked. Those were his last words, according to his doctors. Now, Newsweek says that Mr. Tendler's not alone. Other seasoned citizens on the verge of departing feel the same way. Their final thoughts are not of their loved ones. Oh, no. They have no parting pearls of wisdom for those they'll leave behind. In the end, they're thinking of Robert Mueller and his report. Well, thank God they'll never find out that Trump didn't really collude with the Russians. That might have killed him.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Is it because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe? Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, or download the app to try it for free. That's Babbel.com.
The intersection in Hollywood Avenue and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road and Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel Weather Channel forecast. Guess what? Cloudy and rainy today. High may get as high as 70 once again. Right now, 64 at Keel at 7 o'clock, and time for Fox News.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
Just after 7 o'clock, Robert and Erin, 101.7. Wow. There's just too much today.
I know.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Erin, local news in a second or two.
Talking trash and kicking that can. We'll have more on that. A fire department investigation by the city. We'll have that too. And more flu bugs biting.
You know, I kind of like the kick the can idea. We could have like a contest and we could charge admission. We could get money from the city.
Yeah, we could.
Oh, wait, we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
State Attorney General Jeff Landry in less than 10 minutes talking about some death penalty stuff. They had a big meeting, confab get-together yesterday.
This headline says, why is Louisiana governor helping murderers?
Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather. It's all coming up this hour right here on Keel.
Now on 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
Kicking the trash can down the road, the Shreveport Council voted to delay a proposed $7 monthly garbage fee. However, not everyone was happy with that decision.
I really would like to see us have where I can take this back out to my district and tell my constituents, hey, this is what the mayor's done, and I know you're working on it. I'm not saying that you're not. I just don't think that it's been too transparent at this point.
Councilman Grayson Butcher, another councilman, Levette Fuller, told her colleagues the delay felt like kicking the can down the road. They either need to approve the measure or force the mayor to make budget cuts. The resolution to be brought up again at the March 26th meeting. Mayor Perkins considering an HR investigation into the Shreveport Fire Department. Several council members have gotten complaints about discrimination and retaliation within the department. Now, while state law says the sole governing body over the fire department is the Civil Service Board, the city can launch a human resources investigation. Smart City Summit held in Shreveport. AT&T, General Dynamics, and others were on hand for the first Smart City workshop. Demand for information technology workers is high, and Chief Technology Officer Keith Hansen wanted to find out what companies with high-paying jobs need from entry-level employees. That information will then be passed along to schools to help the students be more prepared and job-ready. Could Louisiana be the home for the President's Space Command? Matt Parker with that.
U.S. Representative Ralph Abraham pitched President Trump Tuesday on making Louisiana the home of Space Command. Abraham, in a letter to President Trump, says that Louisiana already has a large Air Force presence with Barksdale and strong relationships with all military branches and NASA. However, Abraham isn't the only state official pitching their state for the $800 million project. Texas Governor Greg Abbott wants the command center built in Houston. From 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
The flu strikes again, closing down another school due to a large number of student and teacher absences. Pine Grove Elementary is closed today. They're hoping to get it fully sanitized and back open tomorrow. A man recovering after being shot twice early this morning. It happened on Regent Street. The victim was sitting in his car when someone opened fire shortly before 1 a.m. The man was hit twice, once in the wrist and once in the leg. The FBI is hiring and wants to meet those interested in being special agents in New Orleans next Wednesday. They're looking for those with STEM backgrounds, lawyers, accountants, and even teachers. And New Orleans Field Office agent Eric Rommel says they're focusing next week on hiring women and people of color.
To protect the American people and uphold the Constitution. And there's no better way to protect the American people than to actually resemble the American people in the cross-section of our workforce.
You can apply at fbijobs.gov. A big debate has started following the council meeting this week. Should the city help fund for-profit events? At the meeting, Matt Snyder requested the city pay $20,000 of his $80,000 budget for Crawfest. Snyder contended the event is growing every year and helps make our community better. However, Councilwoman Levette Fuller says funding for-profit events sets a dangerous precedent, especially when the city is looking to make cuts and save money. The council eventually did approve Snyder's request with the clause that if Crawfest makes more than $20,000, Snyder has to pay the city back $15,000. Authorities who accuse dozens of super wealthy parents of paying bribes to get their kids into elite colleges say the investigation is not over. Big names such as actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin headline the list of some 50 people charged. I'm Erin McCarty on 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic for Wednesday morning. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Hollywood Avenue and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard Wettig, the Weather Channel. .1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. The Keel app is always a free download, presented by Office Furniture Source. Mr. Jeff Landry is Attorney General for the state of Louisiana. Hey, Mr. Jeff, twice in 1 week. Wow, welcome back to Keel. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Jeff, I watched you yesterday in the House hearing on the death penalty. You, like many who testified, seem very frustrated about why Louisiana is not executing people on death row. And a lot of blame was put on the governor by several folks. Do you feel like the governor is really the one who's holding this up?
Absolutely. He's being intellectually dishonest with the voters and the citizens of the state of Louisiana, and he's being dishonest to victims' families who he has ignored. We have time and time again outlined for the governor different ways and methods that we could get executions to begin being performed again that are well within the constraints of the law. He, number one, will not answer the question as to whether or not he supports the death penalty, and then he uses excuses of hiding behind courts and litigation as to why he will not order his Department of Corrections to make those particular substantive changes to policy to allow the executions to be performed.
You know, the big issue is the drugs. We apparently cannot get the serum that we need, but other states seem to be getting the drugs they need to do it. What are they doing differently? What could we change?
It's a great question, Erin. I mean, when all around the state of Louisiana and Texas and Arkansas and Alabama and Georgia, all of those states are being able to perform executions and grant the victims' families the justice that they so long deserve, right, to putting these monsters away permanently. That's a great question. It's very simple. There are many administrative policy changes that the governor can use. He is flat out being dishonest. So much for Honor Code John Bell Edwards. Again, we have outlined for the governor a multitude of times under which he can do it. Here's the problem, Erin. The governor is required to execute the law. That's his responsibility. If there's a legal impediment for executing that law, he turns to the Attorney General to help him. Number one, to find a solution to a problem, you've got to know whether the other person really wants to solve the problem. If the people of Louisiana could get that answer out of him, it would greatly help me.
Mr. Jeff, yesterday's hearing, you had a lot of testimony, you had a lot of families of victims in Baton Rouge, but did anything substantial come out of it? I don't mean to say was it just a show, but you see what I'm saying, right?
Oh, yeah, look, absolutely. The print media, the liberal media in Louisiana is trying to trump this up as basically a circus. It was not. We had a very substantial conversation, a good intro into what the problems are, and we've already heard from legislators who are interested in trying to solve this problem if the governor will not. They certainly would appreciate the governor doing his job, which would make it easier on them, meaning not having to have to institute law in order to make administrative changes, but they are very interested in bringing justice to these victims' families.
So what kind of legislation might be proposed, and how does say theoretically, the Attorney General of Louisiana assist them in that matter?
Well, what we would do is provide them with legal guidance. We actually did that to the governor as well, and he remained silent. Back in June when we sent the letter to him, we attached to that letter draft legislation that could be passed and signed into law that would allow the executions to begin being performed again. That's one step. And there are a number of other steps. I think many legislators are interested in basically the first step is keeping confidential the identity of the drug manufacturers and the drug protocol and the pharmacists who may compound the drugs. That's a similar step that Arkansas took just this week. The Senate in Arkansas passed, I think, by 28-6, a very similar type of law. That would be a great first step for us in Louisiana.
Jeff Landry, let me ask you this. A lot of this criticism is heaped upon the governor. I heard some mention yesterday about the governor sent to Secretary LeBlanc and Corrections, a memorandum to not order the drug or something like. Can you give me specific things the governor has done to stop us from moving forward? Specific examples.
Well, I'll give you a specific example. Number one, when I became the Attorney General and we walked through this suit with the Department of Corrections, we initially agreed to a 1-year stay. They agreed to start working with us. We've got an email chain that says that. And then they went radio silent. And then in the dark of night, they agreed with the court to an additional 1-year stay after that 1 year had expired. We then sent a letter to the governor directly explaining to him how we could get the process started again. Again, no word from the governor except excuses. Look, there's plenty of times when the blame belongs on me or on someone else. This governor refuses to take responsibility when the blame belongs on him. This is a very simple process for him, Erin. It's not difficult. If he would simply order his Department of Corrections to work with the Attorney General's office to begin these executions, we could bring justice to these families. Look, if you watched the hearings yesterday, you saw the tear-jerking reactions. And look, what we had was a very diverse group of people who are looking for justice in very sad stories. And if we don't have the death penalty, if we have the death penalty and we're not going to utilize it, he is absolutely doing a disservice to the many prosecutors who are out there trying to bring justice, also while endangering police officers. Let's talk about the danger to law enforcement officers out there. Because guess what? If criminals know, because that's one thing, the ability to, if you shoot a police officer, that is one of those cases under which you can be tried and convicted of the death penalty, right? And sentenced to death. Well, if you take that away, if a person goes out and shoots a few people, okay, and then he goes and he flees, what stops him from shooting the cop? I mean, he's already getting life in prison.
Gotcha. Attorney General Jeff Landry, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
1017 FM, 710 Keel Sports just ahead. Traffic now. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on North Spring Street near East Stoner Avenue. And we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near McDade Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe. Windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard Wettig, the Weather Channel. .107 FM, 710 Keel. Sports time. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Northwestern State earned a 3-1 win over 13th-ranked LSU Tuesday night at Brown Stroud Field in Natchitoches. Demon senior Cullen McDonald pitched 7 2/3 of an inning and gave up just 1 run. Tyler Piggott kept the Tigers at bay over the final inning and a third to earn the save. The game was tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 6th when Jeffrey Elkins roped a 2-run double off the left field wall to provide the winning runs. It's the first win for NSU over LSU in Natchitoches since 2001 and the first win against the Tigers for the Demons since 2011. Louisiana Tech blanked Sam Houston State 7-0 last night in Ruston. Kyle Griffin, Tyler Folis, Quentin Logan, and Braxton Smith combined on the 9-hit shutout. Parker Bates collected 2 RBI, and Manny Garcia went 3 for 4 with an RBI. Mark Ingram is no longer a New Orleans Saint. The team's all-time leader with 50 rushing touchdowns is out after the Saints agreed to terms with Latavius Murray for 4 years and $14 million. The former Raider and Viking running back is roughly the same age as Ingram, but has had 422 fewer NFL carries than Ingram. Former LSU teammates Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. have been reunited, and it feels so good in Cleveland. The Browns traded their first-round pick, a third-round pick, and safety Jabril Peppers to the Giants for Beckham. The 10th-seeded Lady Techsters take on Charlotte at 1:30 this afternoon in Frisco in the first round of the Conference USA Tournament. In the men's tournament, Louisiana Tech faces Florida Atlantic tonight at around 6. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
1017 FM and 710 Keel, Robert and Erin, Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. So, Councilwoman Lavette Fuller joins us at 7:40. Going to talk about, so what did the city council do yesterday? Voted unanimously to give $20,000 to the guy who runs Crawfest, which is a for-profit event coming up. When is that?
It's in May, I believe. I'm not sure the date.
What's the fellow's name?
Matt Snyder.
And did he really say, in asking the city for money, if you don't give me the money, I'll lose my house? Did he really say that, or am I misinformed?
He said that. I'm not sure he presented it in that way. Kind of what he says is, we could use a little help for this wonderful event we got going because I'm all in on it. If it rains, I could lose everything, including my house. So.
Well, if it rains, then the city's out $20,000 too. So what are the terms of his payback? What were the terms of this not loan? Sort of loan, right?
Well, if
interest-free loan.
The city spends about $20,000 on this event for security and all kinds of other stuff they help him with, right? For employees that work the event, etc. Now that he was asking for that to just be waived, the council said, "Nah, we can do that, but if you meet a certain threshold of your earnings, then we need you to pay us back."
Let me see if I understand this. So he was already getting, already getting about $20,000 in services from the city. Is that what you just told me?
Pretty much, yeah.
Give or take a little bit. Okay, will those continue or do those cease based on the $20,000 interest-free loan with?
Well, he's getting $20,000 of city money toward his $80,000 budget. I think it's all services the city provides. I think instead of paying for the services, he's getting them for free. Essentially, security.
Is there any money changing hands? Are they giving him cash?
I don't think there's cash changing hands. I may be wrong. I don't think there's cash changing hands. I think it's city providing services for free. The police that have to be there, the spar workers that have to come set up, the equipment you rent, if you're renting barricades or a stage and all that.
But he was already getting that. Why go to the city and ask for $20,000?
Well, he was paying for that. He's paid for that before. In the past, he had to pay for all that.
And so now he
says, "Can you help me with this festival? Because it's getting big. It's a big benefit to the city. I think you ought to have some skin in the game too, because I have all my skin in the game." And and I understand that the city does that for lots of events. For the Revel, they provide services for the Revel. They provide services for races that are downtown. They provide help for Barksdale's air show. They send out barricades out there for the air show. And Barksdale doesn't pay for that.
Are these other events as strictly for profit? I'm going to make me some money so I can make my mortgage and feed my baby's events.
You want to say, let's say a race, a 5K. Is that a for-profit event? Some of them are, some of them aren't.
Well, most of them, no. Most of those actually are charity events like Renee's Run and stuff like that.
Well, there are some that are for profit, and I know the city has helped some of those for profit, just in my research.
So that's
now here's the clause.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Here's the clause. If Crawfest makes a net profit of $20,000, then they have to pay the city back $15,000 of the $20,000 expenses.
Wait. So if he makes $20,000,
if he nets,
if he makes $20,000,
right,
after costs, the city wants him just to make $5,000.
Yeah, they want their money back. In other words, if this is a huge, because he hasn't made nearly that before, he's made $6,000 or $8,000. I think was his testimony.
So this, for all intents and purposes, is a gift.
Yeah, the chances of him making $20,000, unless it's triple what it was last year, are probably not going to happen.
Okay.
So he's probably going to not have to pay back the money. Here's the problem with this, is that, there are many events in town, and we'll use our GeekCon, for example. GeekCon's going on 5th year? 6th year? 5th. We bring 15,000 plus people to the downtown convention center. We have huge expenses to the city for that event. We have to rent that facility. We spend close to probably $50,000 with the city to host that event. We're not making a huge amount of money on. GeekCon is at a point now where if we don't do really well with this event this year, I think our bosses may say, do we need to still keep doing this?
But didn't the
so
mayor-
we're going to be first in line at the city with our handout.
Didn't the
we
mayor
need
s-
help to keep GeekCon in Shreveport. It's a
Didn't-
huge event.
Didn't the mayor actually say, Parkey, do you have his precise quote, his exact quote from yesterday? Didn't he encourage people of for-profit events to ask the city for these kinds of?
He did,
He
and
did.
and we are in line now. I have sent my our boss's note up the chain. We want a resolution on the agenda for the next meeting. If SPAR needs to help us draft it, we need SPAR to help us draft it. GeekCon wants to be next in line.
We got to go, kids.
for this event.
Lavette Fuller in about 15 minutes, maybe a little less, about 10 to 12 minutes, talking that very subject because it was her resolution that set all this up.
You bet.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Uri Drive and Southfield Road. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard Wettig, the Weather Channel.
Information. KEEL News now.
Shreveport's garbage fee is put on hold, but was a proposed $7 monthly fee. Several council members, including Lavette Fuller, are a bit frustrated now.
You're kicking the can. We can vote right now. We can vote for or against. I've already told everybody and their grandmother I'm voting against it. And then we can look at the cuts. But this just suspends the game. We're just suspended in animation. And I'm frustrated.
Grayson Butcher feeling the same.
My constituents are growing weary of it. They want some explanations of cutting. Where are we going to cut? What are we going to do?
The measure will be on the agenda in another 2 weeks. Mayor Adrian Perkins considering an HR investigation into the fire department. Several council members have gotten complaints about discrimination and retaliation within the department. Smart City Summit is held in Shreveport. Matt Parker has details.
AT&T, General Dynamics, and several other companies were on hand for Shreveport's first Smart City Workshop. Demand for information technology workers is high, and Chief Technology Officer Keith Hansen wanted to find out what companies with high-paying jobs need from entry-level employees. The information collected from the workshop will be passed along to schools that help students be more prepared and job-ready when they graduate. Hansen hopes to hold several workshops a year that help develop and cultivate local talent for high-paying jobs. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
The flu strikes again, closing down another school due to a large number of absences. Pine Grove Elementary is closed today. They're hoping to get it reopened tomorrow. Lawmakers heard hours of testimony about the state's stalled execution process for death row inmates, but made no headway in deciding whether or how to resume the use of capital punishment. Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry.
In fact, there were 25 executions carried out across the country last year. 13 of those were just across our state lines in neighboring Texas, 2 in Alabama, 4 in Arkansas, 2 in Florida, 2 in Georgia, 3 in Tennessee. It's time for Louisiana to administer justice to those families.
A Shreveport case was front and center during the hearing. Relatives of Nathaniel Code's victims testified, saying it's time for justice. Code's been on death row for 30 years. A man shot early today happened just before 1 a.m. on Regent Street. The victim was sitting inside his car when someone opened fire. The man was hit twice, once in the wrist and once in the leg. LSU's basketball press conference once again saw interim head coach Tony Benford fielding questions on the 2 individuals of interest in the recent wiretap investigation, the suspended coach Will Wade and freshman Javonte Smart. Benford says Smart's status is still up in the air as to if he'll be playing in the coming SEC tournament.
When I leave here, I'll make a couple of calls and kind of see what his status is. So we're still hoping that we can have him Friday.
When asked about how Will Wade is currently doing during his suspension, Benford said it's been tough for him. A big debate has started following this week's council meeting. Should the city help fund for-profit events? At the meeting, Matt Snyder requested the city pay $20,000 of his $80,000 budget for Crawfest. Snyder contended the event is growing every year and helps make the community better. However, Councilwoman Lavette Fuller says funding for-profit events could set a dangerous precedent. Federal prosecutors and the FBI announced the takedown of a massive college admission scheme involving kids whose families were rich, powerful, or famous. Olivia Giannulli, the daughter of accused actress Lori Loughlin, vlogs her days at college on her YouTube channel. One video is sparking outrage.
I don't know how much of school I'm going to attend, but I'm going to go in and talk to my deans and everyone and hope that I can try and balance it all. But I do want the experience of like game days, partying. I don't really care about school, as you guys all know.
More than 50 people, including Loughlin and fellow actress Felicity Huffman, have been charged. A woman in Slovenia cut off her hand with a power saw, all in an attempt to gain insurance money. Doctors were able to recover the hand and reattach it. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. He sent me that old Jimi Hendrix Municipal Auditorium ticket stub photo last night.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't hear us talking about it last hour, Matt found on eBay for sale half of the ticket, i.e. the ticket stub from Jimi Hendrix at Municipal Auditorium in 1968. I forget the date exactly. And I asked you last hour, what do you think of Jimi Hendrix ticket stub from Municipal Auditorium? That's 68, 78, 88, 98, 08, 51 years old.
I thought $50. It's
Yeah.
not even
$289.
That's incredible.
$289 bucks. And he told me something interesting I didn't know. He said, well, yeah, he's a member of that 29 club. I said, what the hell's a 29 club? And you said that?
Musicians that died at the age of 29.
And the list includes?
Hank Williams, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse. There's like 27 or 30 different members.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously. Stand by a couple of seconds. Shreveport City Councilwoman Lavette Fuller joins us in just a couple of moments. Talk about a $20,000 gift. Interest-free loan.
Yeah.
We'll let her classify it, categorize it any way she pleases.
And we got to talk trash, too.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruben.
Starting to see some slow-moving traffic on Texas Street in downtown Shreveport, and we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of Green Acres Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard Wettig, the Weather Channel. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin. Jack Spring Electric Shockbuster button, unused once again. That's a good thing. Shreveport City Councilwoman Lavette Fuller back again. Hey, Miss Lavette, welcome back to KEEL. Welcome back to KEEL. How are you this morning?
Good morning.
Show me the money, Lavette. We want some.
It's Erin Fest.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with Matt
First of
Snyder.
all, Jimi Hendrix was the 27 club. Hank Williams was 29, but Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, they were 27.
Okay, we need to fix that? All right,
Yeah.
we'll look it up.
Erin's
But yeah,
29.
I know,
That's
I screwed up
Erin's
yesterday.
29.
I know
okay,
I did.
so let's start
I
with
set a precedent yesterday. I know I did.
Yeah, you did.
let's start with Matt Snyder and Crawfest and a $20,000 gift interest-free loan. Let's start there. The unanimous vote 7-0, and it was
A
amendment that
unanimous vote.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
there was a part of me that was hoping that maybe we'd have some more discussion about it. You know, like maybe we're going to talk about this and see like how everyone else is feeling about it. But they were just like, okay, let's do it.
Well, let's start here. What does Mr. Snyder get from the city? Is it 20 cash? Is it 20 in services?
He's getting in kind. This is services. It's services and materials that we already have, like the tables and stuff and the barricades that maybe he could be renting from us. This is not a cash deal, but there would be a hard cost for those materials. And then there's the staff, and which is the public safety and bar.
So basically,
that
at
would be
the
out for
end
the
of the
event.
day, after he pays for everything up front, he tells the city what his net was, and if it's less than 20 grand, you write him a check for 15. Do I understand that correctly?
No.
Well, he'll just keep getting those goods and stuff. We're not giving him anything.
They're not giving
We're
him
giving the
cash.
cash.
At any point.
He would have gotten,
it's all
he
services.
He would have gotten those services for free.
He's getting
But,
police officers. Instead of him paying for the police, the city's going to pay
He'll be
it.
getting it for free. That's right.
Right.
And
So pardon me, then there's a bit of misinformation about this that's going around, right?
No.
So nobody at any point has said, we're writing this
No.
guy a check at the end of the day. No,
Last year he paid for police.
Right.
This year he won't.
So where is 20 grand coming in? Where's
That's
50?
how much the city spends. That's how much the city spends on this festival for police, for SPAR, for tables and chairs, for the time it takes to set all that up.
But weren't let's clarify all this now, because there's a whole bunch of people in a lot of different directions talking about different things. Last year for Crawfest, did the city give Matt Snyder anything in services or money?
We did not.
He paid, correct?
Correct.
And nothing came out of the city's pocket.
Nothing.
Right.
This year, what will the city do for him?
She just did all that.
Well, let's repeat it.
OMG.
Good God.
All right. I feel like, you know what, this is the day. Like, I thought this is the day that y'all finally decide y'all have had enough of me. And this is the treatment
I don't really need you to repeat it, because that's just, Robert can go back and listen.
The point I'm making
I want to know, here's the problem, Lavette. We have Geeked Con. Fifth year. We're struggling. We now need help. We now need help.
I want you to remember what I said yesterday in the meeting, that this is happening right now, but expect legislation that creates consistency and legitimacy for how we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be expecting a certain return on investment for any partnering we do that is like this, either like most likely through the benefit to the city. But where this whole thing started with Matt Snyder was after some conversations and then his presentation at the meeting, I got a text from a friend who I respect that's fairly conservative that said, well, why don't we invest in 20% and then we get 20% of the profit? And so I went back to legal and asked, well, can we do that? It's like, if we're taking on 20% of the risk, then we should get 20% of the reward. Because, this is someone that lives in the neighborhood, likes the festival, and wants to, doesn't want us to completely throw them under the bus, which would have been fine with me. But I thought about it. Here's an opportunity to actually compromise on something. I went to legal, and they told me that because of the alcohol sales in this, it might not be something that we can do outright in that capacity because of state laws. So they said, but what if we say that on their net across the board, we can get them to reimburse for the services after the fact. And so that's what we're trying to entertain. But what if we did do this thing where if we're working with a for-profit and we make an investment in their festival, we got some of the profit back?
Mm-hmm. We'd be fine with that. I mean, you
because that's where I'm going with this.
Well, the problem is I want to know how this ever came up that there would be city money, did SPAR go to Matt Snyder and say, we can help you with this?
No. Matt Snyder went to SPAR, and he has been really vocal that this was set up, that this was drafted by SPAR. But I'll say this, we've never done this before, and I believe that the personnel he worked with were doing their best to be amenable to something, because at the end of the day, the buck doesn't stop with SPAR making a proposal. It stops with the city council.
Okay,
they can propose anything.
There's other events like this. Let's talk about the fireworks on the riverfront.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys get a check back from the organizer of that event if they make a certain profit?
They're not making money there. It really is one of these things where I think that the money that comes in is from sponsors to KTBS so that they can put the thing on, and we get the airtime. We are getting the exposure, which in turn brings more people out for future events. And people are also promoted through Channel 3, and that brings the people out. And it's like we're getting a trade on that media package. So that's the benefit to the city, is marketing for an event that we're helping put on that we wouldn't ordinarily be able to afford to promote in that way.
Well, you can bet KTBS is not doing it for free. They're making money on that event.
They're getting sponsorships to cover it, and they're also it helps their ratings, and it helps their goodwill in the community.
Sure, but the problem is you're going to have so many other events now.
I know.
Do you think the mayor? Do you think the mayor overstepped, or do you think it was okay that he basically said, "Yeah, it's okay if you ask us for deals like this"?
I need to meditate a little longer on that because I don't want to come off completely unfiltered about that yet.
Okay, can we talk trash real quick?
Okay.
I know this is going to make your head explode like it does mine. You guys
No,
have done,
I'm not-
nothing. You have spent 2 months fighting over this, and we're still at the same place we were.
Well, you heard what I said yesterday. I moved my neck. I try not to do that.
I got that.
So what happens? What happens next? In a couple of weeks, you come back, and you're in the same place you were at 3 o'clock yesterday when the meeting started. So
No, we'll most likely have some committee meetings in between and some emails. Some conversations will probably happen, and there should probably be a substitute proposal in place of this $7.
Higher? Lower?
And it'll probably be higher because the thing that we've all been insisting on is that if anything is going to pass, there has to be the enterprise fund. And for me, if anything is going to pass, it has to also have the opportunity for people that absolutely can't afford it to be able to use a program that allows them some waiver or some help. And that program already exists.
do you have any idea? Do you have any idea what that cost at the end of the day is going to be? Because I think right now with water subsidies, it's around what, $200,000 a year, I think is the number.
Say that again. I'm not catching you.
In other words, if you're going to do trash subsidies, do you have any idea right now what that cost to the city will be, i.e. the added cost to the taxpayers, the people that pay the water bills? There is
I think
already
that $500,000 is set aside for that program, and that it's not being completely utilized now,
No.
and there might be an opportunity to add a little bit more to it.
Lavette
But
Fuller,
I don't have a hard number.
Lavette Fuller, I'm in my frustrated canoe right now. You guys are now 3 months in.
Mm-hmm.
Can you point to anything this council has done for our city yet?
We've put on a good floor show.
That's not what I'm paying you for.
I know. I think if anything, we've at least created some legislation that will provide more consistency and transparency moving forward. I feel like we've been playing a lot of whack-a-mole. We've been kind of reactionary.
You know what?
And I feel like the mole.
Miss Lavette, let me jump in and be on the council side for a second. I told Erin, as far as this whole garbage feed debate goes, we have a front row seat to see democracy in action. And if you want to watch sausage being made, that's what we're seeing. And the reason that to Erin it seems so frustrating and why she's at the end of her rope is because it's a difficult process in coming to an agreement, to coming to a compromise, and that's where you are. And honestly,
there's no willingness to put all the information on the table.
And I'm not going to flaw you. I'm not going to fault you guys for that.
She's got a good point. You got a good point, Lavette.
Like the conversations I keep having on this are always going to be the whole picture. What we're talking, the different pieces that we're talking about, the different things that we're trying to cover, and trying to make the right decision and actually regain trust from the community. And you say, what have we done? We've been creating legislation that's reacting to things that are happening out of the executive branch, And honestly, when you're playing whack-a-mole and that kind of stuff, it doesn't leave as much time for doing anything that might be proactive.
Gotcha. Lavette Fuller.
I think I just said a lot right there.
Yeah, you did. You did. I hope you'll join us in studio one day. We can relax a little bit more, maybe break out some wine.
No, I'm not drinking wine at 8 o'clock in the morning with you.
Okay, I'll drink yours. Lavette Fuller, Shreveport City Councilwoman, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Miss Lavette. Great talking to you as always. 101.7 FM 710 KEEL. Here's Ruben.
Starting to see some slow-moving traffic on Texas Street in downtown Shreveport, and we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of Green Acres Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Evidently a lot of misinformation about this, and I'm going to have Erin walk me through all of that stuff just after 8 o'clock. 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Sean Hannity.
And nothing but. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Page said the FBI maintained a quote, unknown verification file for the Steele dossier, she said. The only problem with that remark, because congressional investigators didn't know of its existence. It can't exist. There can be no verification document that made them confident. Because we know Steele didn't believe his own dossier. And we know he had an agenda. And he was being paid to print this by 4 different outlets. We know that Page worked also not only with McCabe and Strzok, but also with Bruce Orr at the DOJ. And at least 5 years, and had met his wife, Nellie, who was getting paid by Fusion GPS. See, it's all incestuous here.
Keeping you on the straight path. Later today, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin. Hang on a second or two. Fox News is just a couple of seconds away. Then Erin with lots of local stuff. One more look at traffic this hour. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic at the intersection at North Market and North Hearn Avenue. And we still have some heavy backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Keel Weather Channel forecast. Guess what? Kind of cloudy and rainy and windy. That ought to start hitting heavy. What about 9 or 10 o'clock this morning, somewhere in there? High today, warm again, near 70. Right now, 65 degrees. 1017 FM, 710 Keel, 8 o'clock, Fox News.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
Just after 8 o'clock, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. And down yonder, Miss Erin has local news up next.
City funding for for-profit events. Should it be a go? The death penalty in Louisiana, will it ever return? And what's up with the garbage fee?
You yelled at me. You yelled at me.
Of course I did.
Well, you're going to have to
You
yell
deserved it.
You're going to have to yell at me again.
I'll be happy
because
to.
There are things I do not understand based on things that people you and I know and trust told me last evening and things that were actually said at the council meeting. And we're going to talk about garbage and... just too much.
Oh, so much.
I'm overwhelmed. I'm too young for this job. Fletcher has sports, traffic, and weather. It's all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Shreveport's garbage fee put on hold. Shreveport Council voted to delay a proposed $7 monthly fee. However, not everyone was happy. One of them, Councilwoman Labette Fuller.
This looks like a can getting kicked. If you want to get to actually making cuts, you vote the thing down and let him make the cuts. That's what he said a couple of weeks ago when I asked, where are we going to cut? He said, we haven't looked at that yet. We're trying to see what y'all are going to do. You're delaying the game.
But several council members say they want to see where the mayor has cut spending before voting to approve any new fee. The mayor mulling over a fire department investigation. Matt Parker with the latest.
Mayor Adrian Perkins is considering an HR investigation of the Shreveport Fire Department. Several city council members, including Willie Bradford and Grayson Butcher, have received complaints about discrimination and retaliation within the department. While state law says the sole governing body over the fire department is the Civil Service Board, the city can launch a human resources investigation. Mayor Perkins says that he is considering the probe, but wants to meet with the fire chief in Bradford before moving forward. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The flu strikes again, closing down another school. Due to a large number of student and teacher absences, Pine Grove Elementary is closed today. The campus will go through a hospital-grade sanitation in an effort to kill the virus. At this time, Pine Grove is set to reopen tomorrow. A Smart City Summit held in town. AT&T, General Dynamics, and several other companies were on hand for our first Smart City workshop. Demand for information technology workers is high, and Chief Technology Officer Keith Hansen wanted to find out what companies with high-paying jobs need from entry-level employees. The information collected from the workshop will be passed along to schools to help students be more prepared and job-ready. Congressman Ralph Abraham pitching President Trump on making Louisiana the home of Space Command. Abraham, in a letter to the president, says Louisiana already has a large Air Force presence with Barksdale and strong relationships with all military branches and NASA. A man found dead in a Walmart parking lot has now been identified. 50-year-old Mark Morgan has been named as the man found dead inside a car at Walmart on Shreveport-Barksdale. Police do not suspect foul play in his death. Full autopsy has been ordered. A man recovering after being shot twice early today. The shooting happened just before 1 this morning on Regent Street. The victim was sitting inside his car when someone opened fire. The man struck twice, once in the wrist, once in the leg. No arrests have been made. A big debate has started following this week's council meeting. Should the city help fund for-profit events? At the Tuesday meeting, Matt Snyder requested the city pay $20,000 of his $80,000 budget for Crawfest. Snyder contended the event is growing every year and helps make the community better. However, Councilwoman Labette Fuller says funding for-profit events sets a dangerous precedent, especially when the city is looking to make cuts and save money. For more than 30 years, Nathaniel Code has been on death row for brutally murdering 3 members of the Colbert family. Albert Colbert testified on behalf of his family members before a House panel that is studying the death penalty in our state.
So we believe in the power of forgiveness, but we also believe that Nathaniel Cole must and should pay his debt to society.
The committee made no headway in deciding whether or how to resume the use of the death penalty. An investigation by the AP finds police departments routinely withhold video taken by body-worn and dashboard-mounted cameras of officer-involved shootings and other uses of force. A woman in Virginia wins the lottery 30 times. Seems she picked the same numbers on 30 different tickets. She just had a feeling. She wins $150,000. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here is Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic at the intersection at North Market and North Hearn Avenue. And we still have some heavy backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe. Windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard, we got to get the Weather Channel.
All right, I'm going to do this myself on 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright, and Erin McCarty.
You're going to screw it up. I know.
No. Okay, but don't yell at me again. God,
Okay.
you yelled at me.
Yeah, I know I did.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin. KEEL
You
app, a free
deserved
download
it.
presented by Office Furniture Source. I'm going to ask you questions about this.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they may to you be stupid questions.
Yeah.
But what people understand and what people with some degree of power and influence are telling other people may not exactly be right. So what I want you to do is I want you to give me one great big and I want you to relax.
Stay calm.
And I want you to just answer my questions.
Okay.
And not yell at me or
I
be
apologize in
condescending.
advance for
No,
the
no, no, no.
stupid questions.
Hold on,
Okay.
just let's walk through this. Okay. There's a guy named Matt Snyder.
Mhm.
And he's got this thing every year. He's done it for called Crawfest.
Right.
Okay.
Betty,
Now,
Virginia Park.
Okay, just hold on.
Mhm.
Every year up until now, Matt Snyder has picked up the entire cost of Crawfest,
He and his pals, yeah.
including and his partners in this venture, including services from the city, which include
security in the form of police officers, SPAR equipment and people to set up that equipment, some probably sanitation workers that come and clean up after the fact, any service that's setting up a stage, setting up tables, chairs,
so-
that sort of thing.
And previously, for these services, he was paying the city directly?
He was paying the city for the estimated cost of those services.
Which was about what?
Don't know what he paid last year. I'm not sure what the amount. I would
Parky?
assume it's about $15,000. I don't know.
Well, last year was only a one-day event, so his
Right.
cost was significantly less than
Okay.
it is this year.
So let's say last year it cost him, give or take, about $10,000.
Okay.
Okay. Is this year's event a 1-day or 2-day event?
2-day.
It's a 2-day event.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to the city council and he said, it would benefit me greatly if you guys did me the favor of giving me all your stuff for free.
Yeah, waiving your fees.
In other words, furnish the security, have the cops. In other words, you guys pay for all that.
Right.
You pay the cops the overtime. You pay the cops whatever it costs.
Mhm.
You pick up the tab or don't charge me at all for
The tables,
SPAR
the chairs, the stage, all that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What are the caveats to that? At what point does he have to pay? He has to give the city money. Understand? He's not getting anything financially from
No,
the city. He's
no.
only getting services.
Right.
But he has to pay the city back if what? And how much?
If he nets $20,000 net revenues from the event, $20,000, and the city has a right now to audit, his event and see, where he made his money, all that.
Gotcha.
If he nets $20,000, he then must pay the city back the $15,000 for in-kind services.
Have he or has the Crawfest organization ever come close to netting $20,000?
No, I think they netted
So they may as
6
well,
or 8.
They
possibly.
may as well have said, if you make $1 million, you'll have to pay us.
Well, I don't know, because it was a 1-day, like Matt said, it was a 1-day last year, and he netted, I think, 6 or 8. So for a 2-day event, he could net maybe 16, 7, and it may be a huge event. It may go crazy, and he may top that mark. I don't know. I would bet
So
if
basically
I were
what
Matt
the-
Snyder, I would not show anything that tops that 20,000. Obviously,
What the city has told him is, if you make 20 grand in profit, you've got to give us 15 of it.
yes, exactly. That's where we are.
If you
so
made-
there's no, I don't know Matt, but there's no way he's going to show he made 20,000.
Well, just to clarify.
if he did, that'd be great, and it's a huge event. It's a good event.
Just to clarify, a lot of misinformation that a lot of people are talking about. He at no point is getting a check written to him by the city.
He's not getting any
to
cash.
subsidize his event.
No.
The only thing the city is doing for him in this instance is providing police security,
Right.
tables, SPAR, blah, 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 work people, and all
And
that.
the problem with this is he is a for-profit event. He's not a non-profit. He's in this to make money. He says he's not. He's doing it for community, but they're going to make money. If they don't make money, they won't throw the event next year.
Parky?
Well, and the other thing is that cost he's getting from the city is 20% of his operating budget. So that's a significant portion of what he's putting out for this event being covered by the city. No money's going directly to him, but the city's paying
See,
their
what
people.
My misconception and what a lot of people thought was, that the city was going to cut him a check if he didn't make X or Y or Z to cover his expenses. What a lot of people are unaware, myself included to some degree, was that he had been paying for it all up front. This time, it, for lack of a better, it is a gift from the city.
Right. He will no longer. But again, this sets a precedence, because now any event that's for profit, that's not for profit.
But didn't the mayor sort of invite that yesterday?
He kind of said, if there's a quality of life event going on in our city, we want to look at them and see if we can help. Well, the problem with that is you waive the fees at Festival Plaza for the KTBS event. They don't pay for Festival Plaza. Now you're not charging for Betty Virginia Park for this event, which I don't think they charged for the park. But now the convention center, I know our folks that put on GeekCon at the convention center already have our hands out. We're like, okay, we need help too because this event's struggling. And we bring 15,000 people, a lot of them from out of town.
Yeah, do 15 grand in 3 days.
Over 3 days. It's a huge event. And these people spend a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And we're struggling to keep this event going. So we could use a lot of city help too. So at what point does it stop? At what point do you say, you don't meet our criteria because you don't have 10,000 people coming or whatever it is? Is it a mark of how many people? Is it a mark of how much money they spend? I don't know where you draw the line and how you set these guidelines, but I know I'm now, our folks here at Town Square Media are now going straight to the city council, to our city council members and saying, we want legislation for GeekCon written and put on the next agenda because now you've opened the door and we feel like our event is a quality event that does benefit the city, just like the mayor said. I mean, it's a Comic-Con. It's a monster Comic-Con event. LeVar Burton's going to be here, for crying out loud. It's a huge event. And if you're going to help people that are in the business for making profit, and that's you're going to be our partner, then put up or shut up. It's kind of how I feel about it.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update just ahead of sports. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. It's backed up to Airline Drive right now. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of Green Acres Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard, we gotta get the Weather Channel.
FM 710 KEEL Sports Time.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Northwestern State earned a 3-1 win over 13th-ranked LSU Tuesday night at Brown Stroud Field in Natchitoches. Demon senior Cullen McDonald pitched 7 2/3 of an inning and gave up just 1 run. Tyler Piggott kept the Tigers at bay over the final inning and a third to earn the save. The game was tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 6th when Jeffrey Elkins roped a 2-run double off the left field wall to provide the winning runs. It's the first win for NSU over LSU in Natchitoches since 2001 and the first win against the Tigers for the Demons since 2011. Louisiana Tech blanked Sam Houston State 7-0 last night in Ruston. Kyle Griffin, Tyler Folis, Quentin Logan, and Braxton Smith combined on the 9-hit shutout. Parker Bates collected 2 RBI, and Manny Garcia went 3 for 4 with an RBI. Mark Ingram is no longer a New Orleans Saint. The team's all-time leader with 50 rushing touchdowns is out after the Saints agreed to terms with Latavius Murray for 4 years and $14 million. The former Raider and Viking running back is roughly the same age as Ingram, but has had 422 fewer NFL carries than Ingram. Former LSU teammates Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. have been reunited, and it feels so good in Cleveland. The Browns traded their first-round pick, a third-round pick, and safety Jabril Peppers to the Giants for Beckham. The 10th-seeded Lady Texters take on Charlotte at 1:30 this afternoon in Frisco in the first round of the Conference USA Tournament. In the men's tournament, Louisiana Tech faces Florida Atlantic tonight at around 6. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Some interesting stuff, and we'll get to some of that in just a little bit. Meanwhile, Chris Giordano is president and general manager of the Louisiana State Fair. Hey, Mr. Chris, welcome back to Keel. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing very good. Good morning, Robert and Erin. How are you guys?
Good. So, Chris, you got to get in line behind GeekCon. Because we're going
GeekCon, come on, I'm getting in front of GeekCon.
No, we're going to the city council next because we want some free stuff from the city.
Actually, absolutely. I'm thinking of reflooring my bathroom, so I'm having the Robert J. Wright Tile Fest. And if I don't sell enough tickets,
want either one of you guys to lose your darn house.
If I don't, well, that's exactly what he said yesterday. So let's start with your thoughts on, in a general way, the city sort of providing free services to for-profit events.
You know, the city has helped events in the past. I know the city does a lot for the Red River Revel. I'm not sure of all those details of what the city provides. I know the city and KTBS partnered and do a big 4th of July celebration, and I'm sure that takes some of the burden off of the city if the city were to go alone doing the 4th of July festival. Mudbug Madness. But let me give you another example. Let's just go right across Kings Highway to Columbia Park, to the Highland Jazz and Blues Festival. Guess who's been supporting them the last 2 or 3 years? The State Fair of Louisiana has been providing the barricades, the tables, the chairs, the trash cans, all the electrical distribution. And I do that for hardly anything. I've been charging them just a little bit of labor for bringing that stuff up.
So every
year, the city used to provide all that for the Highland Jazz and Blues Festival, but I think the festival moved their dates, and now they're, I guess, too close to Revel time. But so the city was not able to do that. But hey, that's a well-established city event, free admission in the park, very similar.
Every year, there's this little thing called, about a 10-day event called the Louisiana State Fair.
Yeah, 14-day event now, Robert.
Well, congratulations.
I guess you could use some help from the city too, huh?
I'll tell you what, a lot of people don't think about the State Fair of Louisiana and our finances. A lot of people think that we're state-funded. A lot of people think that we're city-funded. The fact of the matter is we're probably the oldest not-for-profit in the city of Shreveport, originating in 1906. This is our 113th year of existence, and we're self-supportive. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. We get a Shreveport-Bossier Convention and Tourist Bureau marketing grant each year. We get for our LRCA Finals Rodeo, the Sports Commission supports it with $10,000. We do get a grant through the Caddo Parish Commission for marketing. It's $10,000. I apply for a Louisiana Office of Tourism marketing grant each year. Last year we got $10,000 from the state. And from the city, I will say that we do get $20,000 from the city each year to help offset some of our police spending.
But how much do you spend on security?
Just on Shreveport Police alone, we spend in excess of $130,000. On Shreveport EMS, we spend about another $30,000 or so.
Well, the city's in the business of paying for that now.
Well, that's great because we could sure use it. Our fair does okay. We make a pretty decent profit at the fair, but we're a year-round business, and we have to maintain this fairgrounds. I have staff, I have insurance, I have maintenance, and the year-round operation eats up every penny that we make at the state fair and some. I've been reporting for the last 10 years. We have, at the end of the year, there is no profit. We've had a loss, and it's getting harder and harder. Our expenses are going up each year. We just had a big increase in police, a year ago, which everybody did.
Mr. Chris, pardon me just a second. So if you want to answer the specific question, does yesterday's city council actions change your plans as far as what you might expect from the city to help? If you want to answer that question, you can. But in the bigger sense, I would like you to answer, do you think this might be setting a bad precedent?
That is my concern. We all know what the financials are like with the city of Shreveport. We're struggling to keep our roads repaired. We're struggling to keep our garbage picked up. And now we're throwing this money around. And I'm afraid that it does set precedent because I can tell you, my board of directors that I work for are going to instruct me to go seek help for the State Fair of Louisiana. And I guarantee
you're
you,
100%
Mudbug
sure.
Madness and Jazz and Blues Festival and all the other festivals that operate in Shreveport, they got to be feeling the same way.
Yeah, get in line behind GeekCon now.
You said your board.
I'll get in front of GeekCon.
Are you 100% sure, or maybe you've already spoken to one or two of them this morning or last night? Are you 100% sure? You just said my board of directors are going to instruct me to go to the city of Shreveport and say, "Hi guys, can you help a little more?" You think that's going to happen for sure?
I do think that's going to happen. And I can tell you, I'm looking at my year-end financials right now, and just for the state fair alone, our expenses are $2,121,008. So 20% of $2 million, I should be due a little over $400,000, shouldn't we?
Oh, man. No doubt.
Guess we'll see you down at City Hall.
Yeah, you get behind us in line now.
I'm getting in front of GeekCon.
Thank you, Chris G. We appreciate your help.
Thanks, guys.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Local news just a couple of seconds away. Here's Ruben.
We have a minor accident on East Washington Street near Uri Drive, and we have some traffic delays on Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
Information. KEEL News now.
Shreveport's garbage fee is put on hold, but was a proposed $7 monthly fee. Several council members, including Lavette Fuller, are a bit frustrated now.
You're kicking the can. We can vote right now. We can vote for or against. I've already told everybody and their grandmother I'm voting against it. And then we can look at the cuts. But this just suspends the game. We're just suspended in animation. And I'm frustrated.
Grayson Butcher feeling the same.
My constituents are growing weary majority of it, they want some explanations of cutting. Where are we going to cut? What are we going to do?
The measure will be on the agenda in another 2 weeks. Mayor Adrian Perkins considering an HR investigation into the fire department. Several council members have gotten complaints about discrimination and retaliation within the department. Smart City Summit is held in Shreveport. Matt Parker has details.
AT&T, General Dynamics, and several other companies were on hand for Shreveport's first Smart City Workshop. Demand for information technology workers is high, and Chief Technology Officer Keith Hansen wanted to find out what companies with high-paying jobs need from entry-level employees. The information collected from the workshop will be passed along to schools that help students be more prepared and job-ready when they graduate. Hansen hopes to hold several workshops a year that help develop and cultivate local talent for high-paying jobs. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The flu strikes again, closing down another school due to a large number of absences. Pine Grove Elementary is closed today. They're hoping to get it reopened tomorrow. Lawmakers heard hours of testimony about the state's stalled execution process for death row inmates, but made no headway in deciding whether or how to resume the use of capital punishment. Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry.
In fact, there were 25 executions carried out across the country last year. 13 of those were just across our state lines in neighboring Texas, 2 in Alabama, 4 in Arkansas, 2 in Florida, 2 in Georgia, 3 in Tennessee. It's time for Louisiana to administer justice to those families.
A Shreveport case was front and center during the hearing. Relatives of Nathaniel Code's victims testified, saying it's time for justice. Code's been on death row for 30 years. A man shot early today happened just before 1 a.m. on Regent Street. The victim was sitting inside his car when someone opened fire. The man was hit twice, once in the wrist and once in the leg. LSU's basketball press conference once again saw interim head coach Tony Benford fielding questions on the 2 individuals of interest in the recent wiretap investigation, the suspended coach Will Wade and freshman Javonte Smart. Benford says Smart's status is still up in the air as to if he'll be playing in the coming SEC tournament.
When I leave here, I'll make a couple of calls and kind of see what his status is. So we're still hoping that we can have him Friday.
When asked about how Will Wade is currently doing during his suspension, Benford said it's been tough for him. A big debate has started following this week's council meeting. Should the city help fund for-profit events? At the meeting, Matt Snyder requested the city pay $20,000 of his $80,000 budget for Crawfest. Snyder contended the event is growing every year and helps make the community better. However, Councilwoman Lavette Fuller says funding for-profit events could set a dangerous precedent. Federal prosecutors and the FBI announced the takedown of a massive college admission scheme involving kids whose families were rich, powerful, or famous. Olivia Giannulli, the daughter of accused actress Lori Loughlin, vlogs her days at college on her YouTube channel. One video is sparking outrage.
I don't know how much of school I'm going to attend, but I'm going to go in and talk to my deans and everyone and hope that I can try and balance it all. But I do want the experience of like game days, partying. I don't really care about school, as you guys all know.
More than 50 people, including Loughlin and fellow actress Felicity Huffman, have been charged. A woman in Slovenia cut off her hand with a power saw, all in an attempt to gain insurance money. Doctors were able to recover the hand and reattach it. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. I'm telling you, based on what Caddo Commission President Stormy Gage Watts told us yesterday, if we could get Ms. Gage Watts, and what's the lady's name? Nichols, the United Daughters of the Confederacy?
Jackie Ryland Nichols.
Nichols. If we could get them in the same room, I could solve all this.
Well, I asked Jackie this morning, is there any chance we can talk with you on Keel? And she just replied to me, no, thank you.
Why do you think that is?
I
would just, we're going to let
does not want to engage, I guess, on the subject, I suppose. I don't know. You know, her group she's with the United Daughters of the Confederacy.
Yeah.
And they have been involved in this legal spat over the Confederate monument.
The court, a week or so, ruled against them.
Yes.
And said basically that, and you can split the hairs for me if you will. What the court said was basically that the Caddo Commission, it's their property, and they can do with the statue. They
can have it moved off their property.
They can do with it whatever they want.
Yes.
Meanwhile, on their website, Parky, what did the UDC? They did in your mind.
I don't have it in front of me, and I don't remember what the exact Facebook
Did they
page.
sort of say, hey, we won?
It was sort of characterized as where everyone else is saying, hey, you know, the court's ruled that this can be moved at any time. It's their property. Their take on the ruling was, we won this round. This just means that they can't move it,
is that sort of a... Did she go full Baghdad Bob on everybody? I mean, is that just not the case? I mean, can you think of any logical reason why the UDC would say that in the wake of, and then Ms. Watts comes in here and says, we'll pay for it. We're willing to pay for it. She did say that, or she said, we would certainly consider that.
Well, we knew all along. I mean, we'd spoken to Mike Middleton and Mario Chavez before about they were already getting some prices for how much the parish would pay to move it. So we knew the parish was going to step up and pay to move it.
So right now the parish, as it stands, is willing to put up the $350,000 or so to virtually guarantee that they would wrap that Confederate statue in all the bubble wrap that they could get to protect it and to take it to Norton Art Gallery or anywhere else.
Yeah.
The Mansfield Civil War grounds down there, to take it to someone who wanted it on their ground.
Right. If you think it's going to cost $350,000 to move it, I've got a city with infrastructure problems that I can tell you about.
The Caddo Commission is sitting on $151 million, and it might be worth up to maybe $500,000 or so. I really think, and I may be reading between the lines, but I don't think so. I think the Caddo Commission, as verbalized yesterday by Ms. Watts, the commission president, I think she was making an overture. I think she was saying to the UDC, United Daughters of the Confederacy, if you come to us, if we sit down, if we get the lawyers out of the room, maybe, we can work this out. What are you willing to do if we pick up the tab, if we wrap it in bubble wrap, if we take care of it and take it where you want or someone else wants? Would you be willing to let all this go away? And evidently from what Ms. Nichols from the UDC said to you, well, I don't want to speculate, but what you said, you want to talk to? No. Parky, what do you think?
Well, publicly, the few comments the UDC have issued, it's all been, we're not moving it. That's right where it belongs, and that's where it's going to stay. So this whole idea of negotiating without lawyers and all that, there's a war. Let's just say there's a war between the two parties, and one side's not giving up.
You think I'm just yapping then when I'm speculating that maybe they could in fact do a deal?
Yeah,
that the UDC is the one that is whose heels are dug in.
They refuse to acknowledge they lost.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update now. Here's Ruben talk about garbage fee and stuff next.
We have a minor accident on East Washington Street near Uri Drive. And we have some traffic delays on Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61, and a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard Ouellette, the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. I can do better than that. Oh, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, Keel app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. Okay, so garbage fee. If anybody didn't hear yesterday, they say it's all solved, right? Everything is. Mm-hmm. I think you're a little rough on Miss Lavette. What have you guys accomplished?
Really, though? Think about it. What legislation have they passed? They did do something really cool yesterday.
Why are you for?
They did approve Sharika Fields Jones. Did I get that wrong? As the CAO. She's been approved. She's the first African-American female to serve as CAO, which is cool.
This displeasure that you exhibit at the, I'm not going to say failure. I'm not so sure that I just want legislation passed. It's government does things that most often get in the way. Government does things. What you're saying to them, why haven't you guys passed a garbage fee? You're not for a garbage fee. Why didn't you guys, what have you guys done? I don't necessarily want them to do anything.
I get you. Vote it down then. Say no. Don't keep dragging it out and make me talk about it on the radio for another 2 freaking weeks.
And I've said this to you for the last month. We have a front row seat. Repeating myself, I apologize. A front row seat to see democracy in action. And the fact that we are paying such close attention to it is because it's a really big deal, especially in a city that is not flush with cash. It's a really big deal. And B, we are watching democracy be done. And sometimes it ain't pretty.
Right.
And sometimes it ain't fast. And like I said, it's like watching sausage being made. Ew. But maybe the end result will be the best for all of the city.
I like going to Down Home Sausage in Stonewall and watching sausage
be made.
And
like Ms. Lavette has said, she said to us a couple of weeks ago, don't want to hurry this. No need to jump into the fire. Let's be sure that we know what we're doing and all the ducks are in a row. My word's not hers.
So let's put it on the March 26th agenda, and it starts April 1st. Oh, that's brilliant. I'm so frustrated today.
Why? Nothing happened. Why do you want something to happen?
Vote it down. Man up. Say no, we're not doing. If you want to bow up against the mayor, and if that's what you want to do it and move on down the road. Say, show me cuts, Mayor. Until you do, no. Peace out. Bye, garbage fee.
Maybe this was an overture on the part of the council to the mayor to give him another 10 or 12 or 14 days to itemize, to be a little more specific.
Come on.
And then the mayor turns around. Matt, do we have the cut from Mayor Perkins yesterday? In your mind, I know I'm setting you up for this. In your mind, was he a little short-tempered with the
He was miffed.
You really think so?
He was miffed because they kept talking about, we need to be transparent. We need to be transparent. And he got a little ticked.
It's a negative connotation, and it just implies that we're masking something. I'm just letting you know, all the information about this is available. If you want to ask about the savings of employees, we've provided everything that's been asked. But in addition to that, I will say, even with our cost savings, just to kind of remind the council of the hole that we're in, we spent $8.4 million last year on the subsidy for sanitation department, and that cost is going to go up next year. So even with cost savings, to bridge that gap and to try to replenish the reserve, even to any degree, that is asking a lot from my administration. Think about it. Last year, we didn't balance the budget. We overspent $6 million from the revenue that we brought in. So not only are you asking me to balance the budget, but you're asking me to balance the budget and save $8 million. If it's comparing it to last year, that's saying, hey, can you save $14 million across the board in operations, considering the rising healthcare costs, wages, et cetera. And that's a pretty big ask. But you've already pointed out that we'll be talking about some hard decisions that we have to make with cuts going forward if this doesn't go.
Seems to me like the mayor was saying, seems to me like Adrian was telling the city council, look, these are the facts. Let me review them for you. And maybe there was a little bit of a in there. But on the other hand, I think what the council's done is make an overture to him and said, as a number of the council people have told us, show us what you're going to cut. Let us know before we put this $7 fee on the citizens of Shreveport or vote on it or higher if that turns out to be the case.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about now.
Show us what you're going to do. Let us know that we can go to our constituents in good faith and let them know that this is something that's really, really, really necessary. So when they say to us, what have you done to cut? What have you done to cut? That we can show them specifics where Shreveport is doing the belt tightening. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Weather Channel forecast cloudy and rainy and windy today. A little warmer near 70. Right now 65 at Keel, it's 8:50. And time for Your Money Now.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
Yesterday, the FBI arrested dozens of people, including famous actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin. All of them are accused of cheating to get their kids into college, spending thousands of dollars on bribes and special favors.
This is a direct result of a society that has established a standard where it is more important to make children feel good about themselves than to teach them self-discipline, self-control, perseverance, and dedication. You know, while it's important to have self-esteem, that alone does not lead to success in life, no matter what school you go to.
The man at the center of this whole scandal pled guilty to his charges yesterday. That's not good news for the alleged co-conspirators.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Abalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, and streaming live at keelnews.com.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. I still think you need to put online all that Shreveport stuff, especially. He sent me, Matt last evening sent me a photograph that he found on eBay of a Jimi Hendrix ticket stub. Jimi Hendrix at Municipal Auditorium, Shreveport in 1960, what was it, 68?
68,
right?
I believe, yeah.
The ticket, what do you think, Jimi Hendrix? What do you think it cost in 1968? Jimi Hendrix, oh my God. Well, that was a little bit ahead of his biggest popularity. He hadn't really blown up
He was
yet.
starting to pop, as the saying goes, right around then.
Yeah.
And it was July 31st.
Because he really blew up at Woodstock, was his first. Woodstock was what, 69, was summer of 69. So this was when in 1968?
July 31st.
Okay. So what do you think you paid in July of 1968 to see Jimi Hendrix at Municipal Auditorium take a wild stab?
Whew.
Play high-low. We got about 10 seconds.
Oh, how much to go see him?
Yeah.
$10.
$5.50.
Those were VIP tickets, by the way.
Man.
Wow, VIP, 5.5. By the way, if you're interested in this bit of Shreveport musical memorabilia, it's still for sale on eBay. Asking price $289.
Plus shipping.
What?
Plus shipping.
Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9. Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Kim Commando.
In the 1940s and 50s, people thought smoking cigarettes was safe, would never harm them.
According to this nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Today, is using AirPods and others like them in our ears safe? Kim Commando with Wednesday's Consumer Tech Update. Say hello to easy home cooking with HelloFresh. Get $60 off your first 3 boxes at HelloFresh.com/Kim. Some experts say smartphones cause cancer. Others say there's no way. Until we know for sure, I recommend never keeping your phone up to your head for hours at a time. And men, keep the phone out of your front pockets. And ladies, never in your sports bra. Use the speakerphones to always make a call. Now scientists are turning their attention to in-ear gadgets like Apple's AirPods and others like them. The AirPods' proximity to the inside of our skull has left some experts worried about EMF radio waves causing cancer. We just don't know yet, so use them in moderation. I'm Kim Commando. Here's something interesting. Studies show that security systems deter burglars. It's a fact, but there's still a burglary every 8 seconds in America. How? Well, think about it. Burglars just don't give up because some houses have security systems. They just find a house that isn't protected. That's why I recommend this brilliant security system made by my friends at Simply Safe. Simply Safe believes fear has no place in your home, so they made their system ridiculously smart. If a burglar even tries to break in, an ear-shattering siren will let them know the police are already on the way. Best of all, Simply Safe's 24/7 monitoring is just $14.99 a month, and they're never going to lock you into a long-term contract. More than 3 million people already know it feels good to fear less with Simply Safe. Go to the only home security I trust. Go to simplysafekim.com today to protect your home and family. That's simplysafekim.com for the home security I trust.
Storms on the way for the Arklatex later this morning into the afternoon hours today. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, windy, high 70 today. Thunderstorms likely tonight, low 61. And a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high 72. Friday, sunny, high 58. Richard Ouellette, the Weather Channel.
Right now, kind of cloudy, kind of scary. 64 degrees, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, 9 o'clock.
Breaking news and trending talk.